The prisoner pulled out his belt, removed the metal buckle, then unscrewed the sink's drain pipe. He hooked the belt over the pipe and used the metal buckle to unscrew the screws from the outlet. Next, he fastened the other end of the belt into the outlet. He went over to the bed, lifted it up, and removed the springs from the mattress, forming long spring ropes, which he then secured to the iron post at the door. Mark moved the bed frame over and attached the spring ropes to the four corners of the bed, creating a spring trap. He then turned on the faucet, letting the water slowly flow through the belt and into the outlet, which led down the pipe to the electrical panel on the first floor. The two guards on duty quickly noticed something was wrong. They walked over to check, and the electrical panel exploded. It was clear that something had gone wrong upstairs. By that time, Mark had already moved the bed to the back, ready to go. As soon as he heard the door open, he quickly released the trap, and Mark seized the opportunity to escape. But as soon as he stepped outside, he stumbled and fell to the ground. The poison in his body started to take effect, and Mark had to find the antidote as quickly as possible. Luckily, he met a friend along the way who took him to a warehouse. He set up a trap at the door, placing 2 stools with a battery and a TV on top. He connected the battery's positive and negative terminals, leaving just a slight gap in the wires. He then tested the door's angle to make sure it would force an explosion if slammed open. Finally, he turned on a radio, placing it under the stool as bait. When the guards arrived and heard the noise inside, they thought someone was there and opened the door. Mark and his friend had already reached the second floor. He pulled the fire hose out, extending it outside the window, but his friend shook his head, too scared to follow. Soon, the guards were on their heels. Seeing the fire hose connected to the window, they immediately assumed Mark and his friend had escaped through it. They rushed outside, but once they left, Mark and his friend crawled out from under the couch. With little time left, Mark tracked down his enemy George's hideout. He tied 2 large barrels of water with hemp rope, threaded the rope over a beam in the warehouse, and hoisted the water as high as possible. Then, he lit the rope on fire, triggering the alarm to draw the guards out. Meanwhile, he sat nearby, exposing himself and pretending to surrender. The guards told him to come down. He made a commotion that got George's attention. Mark tried to ambush him, but he was no match for George. He was quickly knocked to the ground. George knew time was running out and tossed the antidote into the sewer. Mark slowly stood up, gathering the last of his strength, and knocked George unconscious. But he couldn't open the sewer grate. Suddenly, he had an idea. He picked up a steel pipe and started smashing the nearby fire hydrant. Then, he went to the sewer entrance. It turns out, he had been trying to magnetize the steel pipe. After a few attempts, he successfully used the pipe to retrieve the antidote. Mark opened it and swallowed the antidote. There were just 2 minutes left, and he had narrowly escaped death.